Salvete discipuli. Today's video is a very short video. It's the first lesson in Chapter 9 in Latin for the New Millennium, Volume 2. And you're going to learn the irregular verb ferō, ferre, tuli, latum. Now you can tell just from the four principal parts that this is going to be a slightly irregular verb because, of course, the first two principal parts, ferō and ferre, look fairly similar. Tuli and latum, though, do not. Now, there is an explanation for this. I don't think it's particularly illuminative, but basically what happens is that various verbs develop and start to take on idiomatic uses. So there were probably different verbs that all meant roughly the same thing, to carry, that one of these verbs, like ferō, was used for the present system, and tuli was used for the perfect active system, and latum was used for the perfect passive system, until eventually all three of these different verbs kind of get smushed into one, okay? Now, when it comes to how irregular ferō is, it's kind of irregular. It's one of the first of a number of irregular verbs that we're going to be learning in the next few chapters. You've already learned wolo, nolo, and malo. And we have a couple more to go because they're very common, okay? Some information about ferō. Ferō is an irregular third conjugation verb, so for the most part, it is going to function, it's going to form, it's going to conjugate like a third conjugation verb. What is irregular about this verb is the present tense, at least the present tense in the indicative, infinitive, and imperative. The future and the imperfect form the way that third conjugation verbs form. Of course, the perfect system is regular. Perfect systems are always regular, right? And even the present subjunctive is going to use the A subjunctive vowel just like you would expect it to, okay? One of the striking irregularities of this verb is the imperative. Now, we're going to have a video in a couple of days about the irregular imperatives duk, dik, vak, and fer. So I'll talk a little bit more about it now, but I wanted to at least give you the forms now. The singular imperative of this verb is going to be fer, and the plural is ferte, which is going to look strange to you guys in some ways. Okay, so here are the forms. You should write down these charts because these are the, I think, total of 5 charts that show the irregularity of ferō, ferre, okay? So the present active indicative is ferō, fers, fert, feramus, fertus, ferunt. Now what you'll notice as particularly strange is that the vowel, the I that you would expect in the present active indicative here in the second person singular, third person singular, and second person plural has completely fallen out. And so instead of ferus, you have fers. Instead of ferret, you have fert. Instead of ferritus, you have fertus. And again, you just have to memorize that. As I said before, the present active imperative, the singular is fer, and the plural is ferte. And then you'll notice that the vowel that you would expect here, the ere, that E without a macron, has fallen out even in the infinitive. So you would expect ferere, but what you have instead is ferre, to carry. This falling out of the verb also happens in the passive. So the present passive indicative is feror, ferus, fertur, ferimor, ferimini, feruntor. So the only place where the vowel falls out in the passive is the second person and third person singular. You would expect this to be fereris and feritor, but the E and the I respectively have fallen out, okay? And then the present passive infinitive, you might have intuited that you replace that E with an I because that's usually how it works. And it's how it works here too. Just notice that you have to keep the double R. It's ferry, 2 R's, to be carried, okay? That's it. That's all you need to know. So make sure that you took good notes. I will look at them tomorrow in class, and I hope you have a lovely evening. Walete.